In Chapter 3, we're going to be dealing with exponential functions and logarithmic functions. In the first day, we're going to deal with graphs of exponential functions. And to start, we're going to look at the table of values. So we have the function f is defined by the rule f of x equals 1/5 to the x. We want to find f of x for each x value in the table. So if we know that f of x is 1/5 to the x, what we want to do is plug in these values. So the first thing we have is 1/5 to the x, and we're going to plug in -1. So we have 1/5 raised to the -1. And we're going to go back to thinking about Algebra 1 and using our rules of exponents. If we raise that to the -1, we can take that -1 and distribute it to the exponents that are inside, which would make this 1 to the -1 over 5 to the -1. Your negative exponents, if you remember back to Algebra 1, tells you that you can just switch it. So to make this a positive exponent, you need to move this to the bottom. And to make this 5 have a positive exponent, we're going to take this and move it to the top. So we would have 5 to the first on the top and 1 to the first on the bottom, using the rules of exponents. 5 to the first is just 5, and 1 to the first is just 1. So basically, 5 divided by 1, or 5. You can also think of raising something to the -1 as just taking the reciprocal. So 1/5, the reciprocal of that is 5. But here's the properties as we go through it. And then I can fill that in my table. This would be 5. Then I'm going to plug in 0. So I have 1/5 raised to the 0 power. And again, back to Algebra 1, properties of exponents. Anything raised to the 0 power, no matter what it is always 1. So we can say that this is 1. 1/5, then we're taking it and raising it to the first power. And 1/5 to the first power really isn't changing anything, so that'll just stay as 1/5. So we can fill that in our table. Then we want to go and raise it to the second power. So we'll take 1/5 and raise it to the second power. So just like before, that 2, this exponent, is going to be multiplied to the exponents on the inside. Remember the exponents on the inside. This is being raised to the first, and this is being raised to the first. So we get this to be 1 to the second over 5 to the second. 1 to the second is 1, and 5 to the second is 25. So this becomes 1/25. And finally, we have an exponent of 3. Oops. So we have 1/5 raised to the third, which will give us 1 to the third, that's a 3, over 5 to the third. And 1 to the third is just 1, 5 to the third is 1/25. So we get in here, this is 1/125. Then what I'd like you to do is do the try this, so you can pause this now and unpause it when you're ready to check your answer. If you did the try this correctly, for -2 you should have had 1/9. For -1 you should have had 1/3. 0 would be 1, 3 to the first is 3, and 3 to the second is 9. If you have any questions about exponents, properties of exponents, or how to fill out the table, please let me know.